The recording will start now. Please be advised that your participation in this meeting will be recorded. Both video, voice, and written in the chat may appear, and then we will be posting the video in YouTube on our channel. So this is the channel. Feel free to check it out and subscribe there. Okay, so next sessions prepared until the end of the year are these ones. September, the topic is not defined yet, but we will have John Karel Peters from the Netherlands presenting to us. And because he is in the Netherlands and we have at least 6 or 7 hours difference, the session will happen during lunchtime. Same thing will happen in November, where Christian Angel, he's here with us today. I saw him there in the chat. He will be talking about dealing with errors in Power Query. In October, so before that one, in October, we will have Roger Govier from Wales, creating dynamic cross-tab reports with dynamic arrays and the let function. And in December, we will have George Mount talking about, yes? Oh, yes. Okay. Okay. So, just a second. Just a second. Mm, mm. Share. I forgot. Okay. That's because I'm dealing, I'm recording with Camtasia. So I was happy with having my presentation on the screen being recorded. That was enough for me. Ah, this is amazing. Okay. Now you should see my Teams screen and PowerPoint is coming up. Okay, there's the slide there. And so these are the sessions. We will have these 4 sessions at least until the end of the year, and something else may also come up. It's not totally confirmed in terms of dates, but if something comes up, I'll let you know. Nothing is posted yet, but it will be soon. Okay. And if you want to keep track of everything that's going on with all the Excel in all the Excel community, there are a lot of more meetup groups and user groups. And Faraz, our guest today, has been doing the great job of putting all this information together. And every month he posts on LinkedIn a list of everything that is going on in that month. So we are here. A few sessions have happened, but there's still a couple more that you can take advantage of. That just check them out, and there's always great content and amazing sessions happening. And I know this is also done with Power Automate or something like that, right, for us, or is it just Power Query? Yeah, so maybe you can also talk about that at the end if you have time. And about our guest, Faraz Shaikh, if you are interested in certifications, he does have a lot to present. So this guy, I see him as a very curious person, always trying to learn, always willing to learn more, and participating, engaging with the community. So we have learned a lot. I have learned a lot over these past years with Faraz, and I'm grateful that we finally had the chance to bring him to our group. You can check his YouTube channel, Excel Exciting. There's the link there. A lot of videos, and for us is also running a meetup group in Saudi Arabia. So there's also the videos of those presentations on his YouTube channel that you can check. And then his website has a lot more to discover on his blog, but I'm sure he will let us know about all this. He's working in the logistics business area, and that requires a lot of Excel. So I'm sure Faraz has a very nice background, a lot of knowledge to share with us. And enough talking. I apologize for all the delay today in putting everything together in terms of technology. For us, the floor is yours. This is where you can find Faraz. You can take a picture and maybe reach out. Feel free to talk about the session on your social media channels, because if more people know about it, more people can take advantage of the free work that is being doing here. It's for all of us, and the more we get people to work well with Excel, the best will be for all of us. We don't want to keep this type of knowledge for oneself, because uh, there's always a time where we need to deal with other people's spreadsheets, and we want them to come nice to us, nicely set up to us, or we will have to deal with that mess. So the more we share with other people, the better for all of us. So Faraz, the floor is yours now.
Hello friends, welcome to MS Excel Toronto Meetup, and it's my pleasure to come here and present it to you the automation stuff. So let me quickly tell you about myself. I'm Faraz Shaikh. I'm a founder of excelexciting.com. I'm an MCT, Innovative Educator. I'm Microsoft Office Master, and I'm an Excel expert and Word expert. I am a YouTuber, blogger, and I do run meetups like Célia over here in Saudi Arabia, and which is named Saudi Arabia Microsoft Excel and Power Platform. My mission is to help the community by providing them the easiest solution with the Microsoft application, which can be quicker and easier for them. And my passion is to share knowledge and gain knowledge. And in this today meetup session, I'll be sharing my knowledge, and I equally expect to gain some knowledge from the wonderful people over here. Well, I'm from India and I'm placed in Saudi Arabia, and basically I'm a supply chain guy, and I love to talk about Excel and automation. So that's my passion, that's my love, and I love Excel and I love automation. So in this session today, we are going to talk about...
Aha, you forgot something. Yes, it's me, Zenzo. So, welcome everyone, and thank you, Celia, for inviting me for this wonderful MS Excel Toronto meetup. And there's so many lovely people over here. I can see Christian, I can see... Okay, who is over here? I can see Claudia, I can see Tina. Oh, there are some great people. I know them. Well, I'll not take much time of yours, but if you want to catch me again, make sure that you come to my YouTube channel, YouTube/Excel Exciting, and you can find me over there. Now I'm leaving the floor to all of you lovely people, and see you soon. Bye.
Well, that's my talking emoji. His name is Zenzo, so you will find him on my YouTube channel and he would be over there. So let's jump to today content. What is there? Work smart, not hard. Well, in today's world, we really need to work smart, not hard. We have deadlines, we have targets, and we have to make sure that we meet those targets, okay? And we need to work hard for that. But with some Microsoft Office applications, you can really let those repetitive tasks to be handled by the system, because systems are good in handling repetitive tasks, and we are the one who will going to work smart, like taking decisions, actions, those are being under us. So exactly in this today's session, what we are going to see how we can work hard on a repetitive task which is been regularly coming. This is a business scenario which I will show it to you shortly, but the tools what we are going to use today for our automation would be Power Automate, Microsoft Excel, and Microsoft Outlook. Now we are going to use all these powerful three applications with Power Automate desktop, and we are going to see how things are going to work. So the business scenario is like this. We have received an image file, and this is a regular file which is coming to me with a screenshot and the content which remains the same, and I'm going to shortly show you the file. Now what we need to do is basically we need to extract the data from that image file, and then we need to push that data to Excel. Now in Excel, the data is definitely, when we are going to pull something from the text file, it would be not clean. So we need to do some cleanup, which I would recommend to use Power Query for that in Excel. We are going to build the solution over there, and then after the solution is ready, we are going to send it automatically by email. Now all these things will be done in automation, and we are going to see how it works. So let me quickly jump to my demo machine and show it to you how the image file looks. Now this is a folder which has that image file. Now you can see that I receive a file which has dates and which have countries and which have some numbers. Now we need to extract these numbers into Excel and do some cleanup and make sure that the file is ready to do some kind of analysis. So this is how the data looks, and you can see we have 3 image files, and with these 3 image files we are going to work and see how can we extract it into image. So let me go and open my Power Automate desktop. But before that, if you don't have Power Automate desktop, then what you can do is go to the web browser office.com. You can just log in with your credentials, and once you land up on this page, you can just click on this box icon, and once you click all apps, you can find the Power Automate over here. Or even what you can do, you can click on all apps. That will direct you to Power Automate. You can click on Power Automate. Now this is a Power Automate cloud version. Today we are going to look the version which is there for the desktop. Now in case if you haven't installed it, then what you can do is go to My Flows, and you can see install over here, and you can download Power Automate from here. You can install Power Automate desktop. Perfect. So let me go and fire up my Power Automate desktop. New flow. Maybe when you log in first time, you will get an option to select your country location. So make sure that you selected country location correctly so that it can access to that server and it can do that automation task. So I'm going to hit new flow. And here we are going to call our flow name. Let's call extract data from text. Perfect. Now what Power Automate Desktop it does basically if you are creating any flow, you can see those flow also on the cloud one. So let me show you the cloud interface also. Meanwhile, the page will get load over there. Yeah, see it has opened another window. Now it is just building that application right now. So it is bringing that editor for the Power Automate Desktop, which we can use it. And if you are using office.com, if you go log into office.com, you can just click on all apps over here. And once you land up on all apps, you can find Power Automate text, the cloud one over here. Okay. Now these are different accounts, so you'll find a little bit difference. So it'll ask me to log in, and with my credential right now, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave it like this. So from here, you can access it and you can see it later on. So let's go and focus on the desktop one. So here we are, things are getting ready. So meantime, it's getting ready. I can quickly see on the chat if there are any questions are there. Too many accounts for us, yes. Yes, Christian, I have too many accounts. Okay, it's true. Power Automate Desktop comes installed with Windows 11. No, I'm not aware about that, whether it comes with Windows 11. Uh, but I'll surely check that out. But I know that you can't use on ARM machines if you have ARM machines like M1 Mac, which is coming, because if you try to install Windows on that, it will not support Power Automate Desktop. But you can run the Cloud Flows on that. Cloud Flows is not a problem. Okay, so this is our editor. This is like our main desktop area, where the cockpit area I would call, where you have your actions.
you have your steps, what you are going to record it over here in this area, and your variables. So whatever the variables you are going to create it will come over here. I'm going to keep it very simple and easy right now, and we are going to slowly go into detail about that. So the first thing what I would have to do over here is this text extraction, right? So the text which is there, it is an image. Now I check for text. If you write something text, there are a lot of other actions are over here. You can see multiple text options. It will show, it can trim your text. It can do some cleaning tasks. It can do some joining of the text. I would recommend if you are doing a heavy lifting cleaning, then use Power Query. Okay. Power Automate is good for doing the automation task. But cleaning up the data is good to do it in the Power Query. But if you have something to join the text and append the text, or you have to add some padding or something, you can do it over here. You can extract the data. You can see over here, there's cognitive services also there. There are some cognitive services you have to have a subscription, and we are going to see something what we can do it with the available resources what we have. So let's go over here and type OCR, optical character recognition. So when you say type OCR, you get and cognitive services from Microsoft. We are not going to use this one, but there are some conditional with OCRs also. We are going to leave it later on that. And there are two kinds of OCR services over here. Okay, there are two engines. Okay, the one is a Textract engine and one is by the Microsoft. So we are going to use the Textract engine. Okay, so I'm just going to see how easy it is. I'm just going to go drag and drop over here. The first thing what is that I need to build the connection with my OCR engine. So I need to create that Textract engine, so I need to create that OCR engine and I'm just going to simply drop it over here. Okay, once I drop this one, there are some other languages
Faraz,
also, but right now,
sorry
yes.
to interrupt you. Can you just explain what an OCR engine is for people who may not know why would we need that tool to start with?
Okay, sure. Thank you, Celia. So OCR engine is an optical character recognition engine which reads the data from from an image and give it to you in a text. So let's say you might have seen if you have used Microsoft lenses, where if you take a picture, you can copy the data from the picture, insert data from picture. You might have seen it has come in mobile phones where you take a picture of a mobile data, it goes to the AI engine of Microsoft and it analyze it and it change the text data, which is the image data into a proper text one. So this will help us to connect and convert the image file into the text one. Okay, so right now I'm going to leave everything what is over here. I'm just going to leave it as it is. And I'm not going to touch anything. It will automatically going to create a variable which is OCR engine. No problem. Let's save this one. Yes, we need that OCR. Now, once we have created our OCR engine, the next thing what we would like to do is we need to extract that text. Now we have connected the engine. This is an engine, Tesseract is an engine which does that job. Now we have to tell that engine what it has to extract. So you can see over here, extract text with OCR. So I'll just drag and drop over here. Now, once I drag and drop, it automatically gives me the a pop-up window, and it automatically fills see the OCR engine variable, which let's say that you have 3 OCR engines which are there. You are trying to connect it, then you can select the correct variable, which one you are trying to connect. So right now our OCR engine is the test track one, which we are connecting it. And you have an option whether you wanted to take the entire screen, a foreground window or an image on the disk. So right today we are going to see it image on the disk. And now here we need to connect this file. So I'll just go over here, select file, and I'll go to my desktop and let's say sales data. And this is my file over here. And I'm going to say save. Now, if you see the file path, which is over here, uh,
this is, I need to keep it always, I might change it some or at a later point of time or something. So I can create an input variable and I can give it the name. We are going to see that, but right now I'm going to run the flow. So I'm just going to say run the flow by clicking the play button over here. Perfect. So it has corrected the extract engine. And now we can see that text is over here. So I just hover my mouse on this one. So I can see on this variable, my text is available, the text which was there on the image. See? So isn't it amazing? Just let me know in the chat. Is it interesting or not? Because I'm checking the chat also. Okay, what is the difference between those OCR engines, Tesseract and Mori? Okay, Tesseract is Mori is by Microsoft, and Tesseract is then they are the one who is the engine which has been creating to extract the data from there. Okay, so we are done so far. We have extracted the text. Now the next challenge what comes to us is that we need to store this. Now it is already stored into a variable called OCR text. Now this text variable, we need to pass it to a file, into an Excel file or a Word document or anywhere. But the lightest document which I would prefer to have it is on the text file. So let's go and see something if we have for the text. Okay, let's see over here. We don't have anything for the text. Let's say that write it to a text file. See, we have it over here. Write it to a text file. So when I drop it over here, so what it does, it will again open me a path. And that's the reason I wanted to create my path dynamic, because in case in future, if I change my folder path somewhere, then I would not run up into this problem. So let us go and create the variable first now. So let's go input variable, and this would be a text, and you can give your variable name. So I will call this as input file path. Now this would be a text, yes, and a default value. If let's say that if your text has a default value, this variable has a default value, then you can give it that. That is what we are going to give it right now. So we are going to create that variable. And from here, I'm going to copy this file path. This is the path because every time I'm going to go it over here and input file path. Okay, I just need to come here, dots, edit, and I'll call this as a file path, instead of input file path. Perfect. So this goes over here and we'll say update. So this is how you can come and change it in case in later on you wanted to change your file path. You don't need to go every step and change that. And now we are going to use that variable. Okay. So I'm going to call that variable over here. I'm just going to control X. I'm going to remove that. And now if you see this small function kind of a select variable button, once you click this, now whatever the variables are being getting created, you can find it over here. So we just need to select this file path, and then we need to just paste the file name. Okay, so let's save it. And now let's try to test our flow again. And let's play this. No. Yes, Mark, you're absolutely right. Power Query connector doesn't work with an image one. It will not throw any data. Perfect. So this data for OCR text is over here. Now let's go and bring this into a text file. So I'm going to write it to the text file. And if you write something over here, the word write, WRITE, and you get all the options with the write. So you can write it to Excel, you can write it to CMD, DOS or a CSV file. And right now we are going to use a text file. So again, now the file path, it is asking us So we can just go and simply select that variable over here, the file path, and I can just call this as a temp dot txt. So that's a text file which it will be. Now what we have to write the content. So it's very important that you have to tell what you have to write. So again, we are going to go over here and select this OCR text because this is storing that value of the results which we have extracted from that OCR text. And so you can just, if you want to append some new lines, you can keep it on, or you can just, if you want to append the data, if the file is existing over there, you can just add it over here, or you can just remove it. Right now, I'm just going to say override the existing content, okay? And I would say that not append anything, the new lines. And you have option to select the type of encoding you would like to do it. And you have an option that if there is an error on this one, and if you still want to continue on the flow, you can continue, or you can just, uh, you have some more advanced setting, that put it as a fail or some other rules you can create it. But I know this will not throw some error. And let's play. Now, the most important thing, I'll just save my flow and let's go back to this folder. Okay, so I'm just going to delete this temporary one which has been created. And now if I run my Power Automate desktop, let's go over here and let's play this. And you can see that the text file is automatically created. Here it is. Now let's open this text file. Once you open this, you can see this all information is available. Now this is the part we have done the extraction uh, from the OCR. Now we have moved it to the text file. So for the time being, now we are going to leave Power Automate and we are going to jump to Excel because we are going to see some Power Query stuff. Now see the beauty of the product, how it has been synchronizing with each other, that you can do certain part from here, and once you build your solution, you build up your model, you don't have to worry about it. It will go very smoothly. So that is a beauty, I like about it, which I also love. And first thing, I'm going to save this file. I'm going to just go over here. Okay, let's go to desktop, sales data, and I'll call this as sales data. Okay, and I'm going to make sure that I save it as a macro enable because we are going to do something with the macro. Okay, so I'm just going to make sure that I save it as a macro enable file. Perfect. So now once we are here, we are going to go to data. We are going to go get data from text file. You have different options. Now, my friends, those who haven't heard about Power Query is an ETL tool which allows you to extract, transform, and load the information where you can do a lot of cleaning of your data. You do whatever your automations, like let's say that you wanted to consolidate multiple files, you can do it in Power Query. You wanted to clean the data and that file is coming every time to you. You can use this Power Query and you can do it. And there are some amazing videos available on Celia YouTube channel, also on Oz, and there are some great people, they have great content about Power Query. So if you don't know what is Power Query, then you are missing the biggest thing in your life. So learn Power Query. This will save ton and tons of your time. And I'll show it to you a simple glimpse of that, how it will be very helpful. Now this is an image file which we got it. We converted into the text file. And now that text file, if I straight away go and open it into Excel, it will not look nice. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use Power Query. I'm going to connect it to the temp file. This is a temporary file, and I'm going to say import. So now when I import it because it understands it as a CSV file because there are some commas are there. We'll take the entire data set, So let's see over here. So it is considering it is an CSV one. So and it's automatically detecting the delimiter which is there. So let's say that we will say no delimiter, custom width 0. So it is going to push everything into one cell. Okay. So let me see over here. Fixed width. Okay, this is fine. So you have to select the fixed width and you'll say 0. Now, if you straight away click on load, okay, it will directly load to the workbook over here. But we wanted to do some transformation. Now, transformation is a place where we'll do all that magic over here. Okay, so now this is the Power Query editor. And these are the queries when we are creating what we are connecting on or what we'll be creating will be appearing over here. And these are the steps which are been automatically been getting recorded over here. Whatever you do, we'll see shortly, about that. And the temp file which is over here, we can change the name to as main temp. Okay. So here I will just like to, I don't like to have that blank rows or the blank empty ones because we don't need them. And let's say I'll just remove these blanks and I'll click it OK. Now you can see I've removed that blanks, but there are some still with some spaces, because it might have understood that it is a space. So we can just remove that and we just need only this portion of data. Now I'm trying to zoom it. I hope you can see now it's much better. Now with this data set, what we are going to do, we are going to reference a query now. Now, once we reference a query, so whatever the steps I have done over here, till the filtering, after that onwards, it has been pointing out to the source main temp. You can see it is just going and pointing out to the main temp. So uh, let's say we come over here and we call this cleanup file, cleanup. Now, in the cleanup file, we want to clean this data. Now, if you look, the common thing, what is there? There are spaces. So let me go and just come over here and there is a great option called split by delimiter. And I would say that the delimiter is a space. It's a space, yes. So on each occurrence, yes, perfect. Now it has neatly splitted up the data. Okay. And I can say, hey, go and use this first rows as headers. But there would be a problem. The problem will rise up when you have other columns coming up because you have frozen the columns because delimiter has taken only 4 columns. If you go and see the query editor over here, the query is putting this formula. If you can't see that formula bar, you can go over here and you can enable the formula bar by checking it over here. Let's come back over here and you can see once I'm clicking it on the steps, I'm going to the next steps and so on. Now, since we have multiple columns, as we have seen that in the future, we will get some columns which will be having some additional data. And if you see the last file also, which will have lot of rows and columns, and we need that information to be really dynamic. We wanted to build a bulletproof solution so that we don't end up with a problem later on. Now, okay, if I try to go and convert to a date over here, and I would say, okay, replace the current step. I'm getting an error over here. The reason why, once I take it a step back, now it looks 31-01-2019, But when you see this dash, it is a different kind of a dash. It's a long dash. So we need to replace this long dash. Now I will not come copy this and I will not go and come and replace it over here. Instead of that, I have to smartly go over here and I will come over here and I will say, hey, transform, replace the values. And I'll say, hey, replace this big dash with a small dash, So it has replaced it only for the dates. Now you have to be careful with your data. You need to spend some time with your data, understand the pattern of your data, and then start building the solution. Okay? It's very important. You can't straight away go and jump and start building the solution. You need to understand the result, the impact, and what are the challenges you are going to face it. So right now it is in the date format only. And once I click it on date, I will still get an error and we are going to check this error later on. So right now I know that this is a correct date. Don't worry. Trust me. And we are going to fix that one. So I'm going to remove these steps again, and we're going to come back to the same safe source step. Now, understanding the pattern of this data, I would like everybody feedback, how are you going to break this data? How are you going to handle this one? There are many ways. If I can get something in the chat box or that would be great. Correct. Good question, Mark. If you have a space with the country, then we need to deal in that fashion that we have to replace that specific country name. That we'll create a separate table, or we'll say that that table, if the country name comes like this, then replace it with this name. We can deal it in that fashion. Great. So what I'm going to do is over here is I'm going the only delimiter what I see over here, which is helpful for me right now, split by number of characters. 10 first. Very good. That is a good one. That is a good one. I like it. But let us, since we need to build a solution dynamic tomorrow, if my date is coming, if I don't have that 10 dates, then I will end up with a problem. And I don't know whether the top row is having the 10 numbers. So what I'm going to do, I'll go and select this one and my delimiter is a space. Okay, that is the only one thing which in the data is helping me. So I'll go over here, split by delimiter, and this time I'll go advanced, and this is one of the best features. So just imagine in Power Query, there will be how many best features will be there. I'll say that, okay, go by space and split it by rows. Now you can see how the data has been stacked below another. Now we need to do a little bit cleaning stuff over here. And so let's see that we have end of month, we have India, we have Brazil, and then again the date, and the pattern of the data is cool, so it is coming perfect. What I'm going to do is I will be just adding an index number just for my reference. Okay, add an index number. Oops, we have to start from 0. Perfect. So I'll just keep it for the time being. But if I get another data, let's close and load. And I should have loaded as a connection only. Otherwise, both the queries will get dropped. Oh, okay. Yeah, see. So once you keep, you should have close and load as connection only. I have straight away loaded the query to my Excel workbook, which I shouldn't do that. So coming over here, let's go to our Power Automate again over here. Okay, you have saved the file, and let's go and change the file name, and let's go and call this file name as 01. Save, and we'll run that. Okay, and I'll say load to table. Now see, every time the row are changing. So I have got that Canada data also over here, the new one should be here. Yeah. So it is over here, the Canada one. So earlier it was still Brazil only. So somehow I need to make my headers dynamic. Okay. Now there are many ways to deal with this one. Okay. The one which we are going to see is I prefer to do it in this way for this kind of a data. I would again create a reference. Okay. Now with the reference, I'll just say that go and keep the top row, the top one, the first row, because I'm always sure that the first row will come with the name because as I told, I know my data and I will call this as headers. And in this headers, again, I'm going to go and say split by delimiter. And again, advanced and I'll say by rows. Now we got this headers, all that headers which are there over here. Now this is a dynamic one. Let's go and test it out again. Coming back over here, 0, save, run the flow, ran successfully. Let's refresh it. Yeah. So see how that data has been removed from here. Let's come back to the cleaning of our data. Just excuse me. Now what we are going to do is over here, we are going to add another column. I'll just refresh so that this preview has got refresh. And this is a column profiling. It is available in Office 365 users. We can just remove that column profiling for the time being. And there are some others, statistics information that how many you have, a unique counts and everything. So right now we'll just keep it like this. Now what we are going to do is we are going to go and add another column. And let's say that we go and another column with the same index number, or we can just go over here and say add another column and we are going to say the modulo of this because we wanted to create now the group. Now if you see that Brazil is coming on number 3 now. Okay. And earlier you have seen the Canada is coming on number 4, the record number. So let us put number 3 over here, number 3. So we can create the grouping of that. So you can see over here 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2. So it is in one group now. And this one is in one group now. So all that information is coming over here. So basically we are creating that modulo of that one. But here, 1 minute, we have to make sure that the modulo magic number goes the VIP number. I would call this one should be 4, not 3 because it is 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. So now we are getting the numbers correctly. So this is a group of that specific record. Now taking that same modulo, okay, we are going to take that same number and we are going to divide by its integer. So that one is again the number 4. Okay, so we are dealing now this column, sorry, the index 1, and let's say the integer goes to number 4. So now if you see it is grouped it, the headers, then my record 1, the record 2, record 3, 4, 5, and so on. Now, what we wanted to do, we wanted to make sure that the numbers which we have created over here, the numbers what we are feeding over here, the number 4, it should be a dynamic. Now, the reason of creating that headers was, this was the reason, so I would just go and say my headers. I'll just make a reference of this one, right click and reference the query. And I will call this as my VIP underscore number. And I'm going to say right click. I'll come over here to transform, and I would say statistics, and I'll say count the value. Now you have count distinct values, you have count values, but with this data, I'm quite sure that this is the number of count the values. So I got this number 4 over here. Now, if you guessed me right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass this parameter, this variable, what is there, number, VIP number, exactly make sure that it's exactly Power Query is case sensitive. And I will come over here in my cleanup file. I can come over here on this insert modulo, and I will change this guy with VIP number. You have seen that the intelligence which is there, it showed me that VIP number. Enter. Now if my uh, the image file, when it gets changes also, we don't have to worry about it. It will automatically take it. So again, VIP number, I'm typing it over here. So you have to be very careful. Let's do it. Escape again. Let's do it again. If you click over here, I can see this number which we have to change it. So number integer divide by 4. Or if you're not comfortable doing it from here, just go to your advanced editor, and the advanced editor, you can go to that specific step. You can remove it and you can paste it like how we have copied right now. So now this it has become dynamic now. Now, after looking the pattern of this data, what I can do is I can go back to my headers over here. And if you see, my headers are, I need to repeat the headers exactly on these data sets also. The date has to get repeat again, the date has to get repeat again. And if you can see this carefully, we have created 0, 1, 2, 3, the pattern. Now, in headers, which I have created over here, I'm going to go add an index column starting from 0, which is over here, 0, 1, 2, 3. Now, so if I have a new data coming up, no worries. It will automatically update that one. Now, see the magic what we are going to do. What we'll do is we will go to our modulo. You can see that numbers are there, 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. Exactly it is here. So I'm just going to go and say home, hey, go and merge my query. Merge. Now, merge is like a VLOOKUP in Power Query, but it's a very powerful VLOOKUP. And right now we are just going to say modulo 1, 0, 1, 2, 3, select this one, headers, and I'm going to use the index of that. So match of 24, 24. And we are going to keep it as left outer join. Left outer join, there are different joins which are there. There are 7 joins. In fact, here we can see 6 joins which are available, but there are 7 uh, there are 7 joins which are available. So let's say okay. And now what we are going to do is we are going to go and say, hey, just give me the column names. Now, before I go and extract, I would just like to clean it and write this name correctly, I'll call this as a header. Header name. Now see, I have changed my header name, the depending query has got broke because it doesn't have that column name. So this is an error which will throw up. So be very careful whenever you are changing any kind of step, if your query is depending on that. So we don't need to worry about it. We can just simply go to the source over here now. And instead of column name, column one, we can just replace it and call this as header name. Now it is coming up that number of headers which are there. Let's come over here, expand this header. We don't need that index number. We already have that index number. And let's say, okay. Now we can see something is building up gradually. Now just like to sort my data again, so I can see the pattern. And when you see the pattern, the India, it has linked to Brazil, Brazil has linked to Brazil, and everything is working absolutely fine, the way we need it. Now from this data set, what we are going to do is we wanted to say that if because I need to split my dates from here and I need to keep my records separately. So what I can do is I can go and add in conditional column. I can say conditional column, hey, just go and check my column one and no, I would say I would go and say that wherever is the modulo is equal to 0, you pull me the date. Otherwise, you just ignore it, So I'm going to say, hey, modulo column, go wherever the value is equal to 0, then give me the column 1, or else just return me the values which are null. Perfect. Now this is getting a little bit interesting now. So I'll go right and go fill down. Now if you see this data, we have got that repetitive date, we got that country names, and we got all that information correctly being stacked over here now. Okay. Now there is little bit cleaning which we need to do over here. Now, once we have filled down that module, we have filled down that date column instead of custom. I would call this as a date column. I'm very precise with my namings, and now if I go, the depending step will break because of the name. So let's say this is a date one, enter, and now I have the date one. Now what I need to do is I need to filter some data, I need to clean up some data. Now, if you see, do I need the record number 0? No, I would never need this record number 0. So I'll just remove the record number 0 from here. Now, if you see the dates over here, which are over here, it's are repeated over here. We don't need that dates also. So I can remove it, the 0 also from here. Now the data looks interesting, isn't it? Just let me know in the chat, are you enjoying it or not? Cool. Okay. I'll check the chat again. So right now I have all my data has been cleaned up. It has been properly been stacked. Okay. The new data, what will get come to our data set will not end up with any problems on that. Now we are going to remove, we don't need some columns, okay. We don't need, we would not require some of the columns, over here. So let's say that if we end up cleaning some data set over here, so the index would be not required. So I can just, sorry about that. We can just go and remove the index column, right click and remove. Cool. Now let's go and change it to the date. Let's put the correct data types over here. So this is a whole number. I'm quite confident that will be a whole number. So I just change it into a whole number. This is a text and this is a date. When I go and I change to a date, it gave me an error. Now, this error we have seen earlier, and I promise you that we'll fix it in this solution. So let's go and do that together and just remove the change type step. Now see that that change type step was having two steps of that same change type. So you have to be very careful when you're deleting some step. So let's go to the date, and this kind of formats I've seen usually been maintained in India and Saudi Arabia region. And this format, if you currently my system locale setting, which is the date and time, is itself is a one session, we can talk about it, where it has its own beauty, how it handles in Excel, and it's a really powerful thing, which we can talk about it. But I would not like to keep it very simple, that your system locale setting, the system setting which is there, like it right now, if you see my system setting, it is July 16, 2021. So I have my month first, my day, and then the year. Now here, what we can see is the month, the day first, the month, and then the year. So such kind of settings we can deal with using locale. Now, when you come to locale, so now since this file is extracted or I have received it from the system, which is an Arabic system, and I know that they maintain it in this format. So I will go and search something for Arabic, so I will say and go date, and when it comes to Arabic, there is something called world. If I select Saudi Arabia, so it will just handle the Arabic date format, which is we don't need at the moment. We need to see the world so we can get it interpreted correctly. Perfect. Now it has changed it into proper locale setting. And now I'm going to go and say that, hey, just convert this into a whole number. Now, if you see again, I can see the change type step one. Now there's already a change type step over here, which is not doing anything to me, because when I have split my delimiter, it has automatically removed, it has automatically added the change type step. So what we are going to do over here is we are going to remove this change type step. Now, be careful. Whenever you are going to delete any kind of steps, it may impact the down the line steps which are there. So you have to be very careful that when you are deleting, but and this can be only come to know when you are working regularly with the Power Query. Now I know this change type step will not have any impact to the other the steps which are over here. So I can just go and delete over here, and I can say, okay, delete. Now tomorrow if I need to, and when I'll come over here, I can see this one. And tomorrow if I need to know that, okay, where is that variable argument I have passed at this VIP number? So I can just come here and I can just say right click over here, these two queries, right click, and I can go over here properties, and I can say this number is dynamic. Copy, okay. Now you can see this nice exclamation dot which has come over here, and you can go and see the same thing for the previous step. So tomorrow, if I have something to go and check, my solution, if when I'm building my solution, in fact, go back, it's very important. I know that once we build a solution, after a certain period of time, you'll give it to somebody. And if they break it, then you need to come back. So it's a good habit to document it correctly. So you don't end up going and building the solution again and trying to explore what you have done that time. So now this data looks good. Everything looks perfect now for me. Now see the magic what will happen with the Power Query. Are you ready for this one? So what we are going to do is we're going to say, hey, these are my headers which are there. These are my values. Okay. So I'm going to say Power Query that go please transform, pivot this column. Okay. Uh, sorry, I have to select this header names which is there, and I'll say, hey, go over here, pivot the column, and the values which I would like to use is the values which are in the column one. Okay, this is the values, and say okay. Okay, now I got the reason why this has happened because, and I have did it purposely. I'll be very honest because I wanted to show that if you don't delete this division number which is there, the integer division column, it will go and split the data in this format. So it's very important that when you go and remove it, you have to you have to keep the modulo in this pattern of the data. Okay. I'm been specifically talking about this kind of pattern of the data. If you have, you remove that one and you insert it. Now you can see how it has been inserted over here. You don't have to worry, it has automatically added, remove columns, index and integer. Now when I will go and pivot my column, I think I'm doing something wrong. Let me refresh it. I have selected the wrong column. It should be modulo, not the division integer. It should be the modulo. Sorry about that error because it's late night in Saudi Arabia. It's morning 2 a.m. If I'm making mistakes, then please excuse me about for that. Okay, so we have it. Now this is how it has cleaned up the data now. Now this is the one, this is the record which we need to, we have pulled it from that OCR text and we connected to the Power Query. We cleaned that data. We did that heavy lifting stuff and we have put it into a proper layout. Now let me say close and load to. Okay, if I have some additional queries, it will ask me whether it has to be loaded to the Excel workbook or not. So I'll say only connection. Okay, I'll say create only connection. Okay, because I was having this query which was supposed to get loaded, but I have said that built it only as a connection. So now I have this data correctly added over here. See how it is. But one more thing which we would like to do is we have to make sure that we don't end up with a uh, we don't end up with something like the records is not sorted correctly. So I would say that, okay, sorted with this integer division integer. Now I don't need basically division integer also. So I can just delete it from here. I can say, hey, remove this column. And I would say that sort it into ascending order state. And then save, close and load. Perfect. This goes well now. Now we are done with the cleaning part in the Power Query. Now, so far how everything is going, I would like to know from you guys. Is it how it is? You can please unmute and Celia, please give your feedback. Anything is there in the chat, how it is going on?
Sorry, my Teams is acting weird and I thought I was unmuted. I want a testing run now. Is it
Okay.
possible? Or are you
What you
so try test this with a new file?
with the new data set, okay.
Hmm.
With the new data set, okay. Sure. Now once we go over here, I'm just going to change the file name. I can just now see since I'm showing multiple examples over here, so that's why I've given the file name 0102. But if I have a file name which says sales, then I can just replace the file. So this solution will work perfectly. So let's say this is 01 and save, and let's go over here. Our the great friend Power Automate play. When it plays the query, happening. And now when we go to Power Automate, Power Query over here, and I'll just refresh it, it has added the new data. Super cool,
That's
isn't it?
beautiful. There were
Now
some
let's
there were some questions about costs. Is there any cost to use these features in Power Automate every time you run text, or every time you run the flow? Is there any cost associated with that?
no,
Okay.
there is no cost. But if you are trying to connect the cloud with the desktop one, then I think you need to pay some subscription fees for that.
Okay, thank you.
Great. So let's come over here. Oh, okay. We come back to our for automate and let me change the file again. The file name is again 00. Okay, save, run, and let it work. Now, I wish there would be a feature coming soon in Power Automate or somewhere on Power Query, on Power Automate desktop or the cloud version, where you can just straight away go and write and refresh it. Refresh an Excel file, refresh a Power Query. But unfortunately, it is not there right now at the moment. So, but I'm sure that I have already raised it on the Excel user voice also, and maybe later on I can share that, or I'll share it with Celia so she can send it in the follow-up email,
Hmm.
where ability to refresh the Power Query automatically in the with the help of Power Automate or the desktop or the cloud one. Now, since we don't have that, we'll live with that one with the existing solution what we have. Okay. So now what I need to do, now this is my file which is ready. Okay. I'll just save this one and I'll come and close this file.
That
Now I
one,
need
sorry,
give
that one is sales one. Is that what how you want it to be? Because you changed the Power Automate to sales zero, and the
yes,
Excel has
yes,
sales one data.
yes,
Okay,
no problem.
okay.
It will handle it. It will handle it. So now what we need to do that when now if we see our business process initially when I showed it in my slide, that we need to connect to that image file which we have done. We need to clean the data in Power Query which we have done. Now we need to refresh that query, because whenever I'm connecting that file, whenever I'm receiving a new image file, of course it will have a new data, it would have a same data, we don't know. So now here the challenge comes with the refresh. That's the reason I was requesting it on the user voice that to have this feature. But the solution is that how we can fix this one is that we can say Excel. If you come over here, there is for Excel over here, there are a lot of options which are there for advanced also if you're trying to do something advanced. And but right now let's just keep it very simple. Now what I need to do is that I want to say that okay, Excel, go and launch the Excel. So when I can say that, okay, when you want to launch the Excel, whether you wanted to launch a blank one or you wanted to open a new document from the following. Now we have already created the document. Now just imagine this is so powerful that you can create a new document and you can create it in whatever the query steps which we have done. We could have recorded with the step recorder, which I will show it to you now, and we can create the entire solution. But we need to build a solution in such a way that it is sweet and simple and easy to understand also later on. But the possibility is also there with the UI interface. You can just click and you can connect it. Okay. So let's say that we're going to say that open the following document. Now again, this variable, the file path, I will say, okay, this is the file path and I will say the file name. So my file name is, okay, this is my sales data and I have to make sure that I put it with my file extension names. So let's go over here and where it is. Yeah, this is the name, sales data. So I want to launch this. file. Now make this instance visible so that the window will be visible or it will be hidden. So I'll say yes, make it visible. Now whether I want it to open in read only or not in read only, so you can just select that option accordingly. If you have a password protected one, then you can put your password and you can open the file. Okay. So the password protected, it encrypts it correctly, so make sure that when you're selecting, even when you're creating the variables on the cloud one, I've seen that you can create an encrypted variables when you're storing some passwords, it will not visible. Now load add-ins and macros, I will say yes, okay, because we are going to deal something with the macro. Now variable procedure, yes, this is a variable which has been given by Excel. I don't mind, you give the name, it's your choice. And now once we go back again, when we play this, and now it goes, reads, and you can see how much time it takes, how much second. It should go and open the file. Let's do it. Yes, see, it has opened. Oh, where's the file? Yeah, okay, fine. I haven't clicked anywhere. Okay, it has opened automatically. Okay, so this has opened the file now. Now, the next step, what we need to do is only one simple step. We need to just refresh it. So now there are two ways. Now, either you can go and come over here and you can say desktop recorder. When you click on the desktop recorder will start recording the actions, whatever you are going to do it on your desktop. Okay. So let's say that if I say record, okay. So first thing what I'm going to do, I'm going to go and select the window. You see how it has selected the window over here. Now this element is selected again. So I don't need this image one. So I can come back over here. So basically first you just complete your steps. You select one. I will just move this guy away a little bit. Okay, perfect. So I'm just selecting my Excel workbook. This is over here. I'm just keeping it on the cell. I'm going and hitting refresh. Now Power Query will take that new data and it will refresh and it will bring us the new data, the sale 01.
Mhm.
Now these are the steps which are been getting recorded. Okay, you can see the Power Query is running. Perfect. So now this steps has been recorded and I can just finish it and I can then run my step again. Again, the Power Query will update. But now this has come again, how many steps you wanted to save or how efficient you wanted to make your model, what you're building. Even you can go to data and you can click refresh. You can hold it for some time and then you come, you can see the red color box appearing menu item and then you click on that one. Refresh, so that would be the appropriate way of doing it, dealing it with the desktop recorder. But I will cancel it right now. Uh, and I would go back again to my Excel file. I'm going to close it and I'll say do not save. So what are we going to do? Nothing. We are going to open this Excel workbook again. And there were a lot of steps been involved. We know that. So here nothing. I'll just go with macro. Okay. If you have been dealing with VBA, if you know VBA, then you might have come across with the macro, and the users who haven't been familiar with the VBA, even it is an automation process where you can automate your task. That is a classic solution, and what we are dealing is right now is a modern solution. So we are mixing classic with the modern one. So it's kind of a remix we are doing. So I'll not go dive deep into macros now. I'll just go and simply record one macro step where I will say, hey, where you can activate the developer. If you haven't activated the developer, you can just right click and say customize ribbon. On the ribbon, you can right click and you have an option for the developer tab. You can just, if it would be unchecked, so make sure that that is being checked over here. Let's say okay. And now we will start recording the macro. So recording the macro is exactly what we have seen on the desktop recorder. So whatever you do on the Excel workbook, that will get recorded. So if I click it somewhere over here, it is getting recorded. If I'm selecting the sheet, it is getting recorded. So whatever the actions I will do, it will get recorded. So the first thing what I would like to do is that I would like to select the sheet. I'm sure that I will be very confident that this model I'll be building it on one sheet only, but still, just to be on a safer side, just select this sheet one and I'll just keep the cell over here. And what I'll be going to go data and I'll say refresh and I can refresh only this query or refresh all. So all the queries in this workbook will get refreshed. So let's go and do refresh this query only. Perfect. Now what I can do is this is the only action which we need to do. I can go here, stop recording, or even I can go at the bottom and I can say stop recording this one. Now let me show you the code of the macro and we have a macro expert over here. Oakley is also over here and Mark is here. So now when you select this, you can see that whatever the steps I have collected and it has been recorded over here. We don't need these two steps right now, but make sure that when you start recording your macro, you properly give a name to your macro and you properly select it so you don't clutter it out or you don't have that things, which you don't unnecessarily needed in the code. So I'll say refresh, okay? Refresh query. Perfect. Now, once this query it has been selected and this object has been selected, it will get refresh and I will save this one now this time. Now my macro is saved in this workbook which we are dealing, sales data XLSM. Close this one. Let's go back to our Power Automate. Come over here. I'm going to change the file name over here because it has taken the data for 00. I want to show it how it is working in action. Now, what we would like to do is that we need to refresh it with Power Automate Desktop with using with macro. So when I was looking on the Power Automate Desktop list, in advance, I found this thing, the Run an Excel macro. Now, once you click Run an Excel macro, if you have multiple Excel workbooks, you have to select exactly which one you are pointing it. Okay, you are pointing to which one. Now I'm pointing it to Excel instance 1. If I would have multiple Excel ones, then I would uh, point it to that specific Excel instance. And the macro name should be exactly the same what you have given in on the on your Excel workbook. And let's say save. Now watch what will happen. I've closed my workbook. Okay, I'll keep Power Automate desktop window open. So launching the Excel, running the macro. Now here you can see it is having the load time. It is opening, connecting to the network framework, which is there for the Power Query, connecting to the sources. See, we are running already on that step. Perfect. So now my data is refreshed. So I don't need to do that refresh stuff also. Okay. So I'll close. I'll say, hey, do not save this one. Okay. We need to save the Power Automate over here. Okay. Just make sure that you hit the save button. And I would just like to keep a delay. Okay. I know that after finishing the macro has been run, only then the Power Query go to the next step. But just for a safer side, let's say wait. I will call this over here, wait. And I will say that wait, okay. Duration will be, let's say, for the 5 seconds. Okay. I'm just adding it to be on a safer side because I know that when you run the Power Automate desktop and when you run on that one, and if it just jump to the next step, it is not getting refreshed sometime, especially when you're doing the desktop recorder flow. That time I have noticed this one. So that's the reason if they build up this solution over here, it would be lovely. Okay, so now I'm not going to run the Power Automate again and again. Now we are going to go and build the solution now. Now once it has run it, it has opened. Now we need to copy the content which is there, correct? The content which is available. Now how can we copy the content? Let's go and see something if we have for copy. Okay, we have something over here, copy cells from an Excel worksheet. Perfect. This is what I need. I'll drag and drop over here. Now I'm pointing it again. You have to be very careful that you have to select the correct Excel workbook. Okay. Let me show it to you. What will happen if I have another workbook? Uh, okay. So let's say Excel. I'm going to launch another Excel, but this time a blank one because I need to copy the content from that Excel workbook and paste it into a new one. So I'm going to say launch a new one. Okay, launch. So I'm launching a new workbook over here. And this is as a blank. And now you can see Excel instance 2, it is written over here. So I can give, I can call this as anything, I can rename it also. I can say Excel instance temp, because this is a temporary one, I would say. Or I could keep anything, So let it keep it as 2. So you have to be very careful if you are changing any names. Otherwise, your model will break, okay? So what it will do, it will launch, it will run the macro, it will wait for 5 seconds, and then it will launch another Excel workbook blank. Okay. And the one which I was talking about, copy the cells from an Excel worksheet. Just drag and drop it over here. Now when I click drop down list, you can see there are 2 over here. This is what I was referring it before. You have to be very careful what you're selecting. So now copy the column values, okay? The values in a single cell, values from a range or values from a selection. Now, if you select values from a range, now you need to declare the start column, okay? So I know my start column is A and my row is 1. So from row A1. But the end column is the challenge right now, okay? But Power Automate Desktop has a solution for that one. So let's save it temporary, okay? I know it will throw me an error. No worries. My brother error. You don't have to worry about that. So you can see I'm just shifting my action which is there. I'm just moving it up, just dragging and dropping over up and down. Now there is an action which is available over here. If you go again in Excel, and I would really encourage you that you go and explore each and every drop downs over here. Okay. Advanced. And I found something really interesting, that all get the first free row and from the Excel worksheet. So I will just say that, okay, fine, get me this one. I'm just going to drag and drop and I'll show it you what exactly it is. So we are pointing it to the correct Excel one. It's not this one. Sorry, not that one. Get the first free column slash row. You need to drag and drop this one. And this one, we can say, okay, so it is going to produce a new variables, which will say that first free column and first free row in this Excel instance. Let's save it. Now, what do you mean by first free column and what do you mean by first free row? Now, if we open our Excel workbook over here, which is Excel MM, this is the first free column, okay? And this is the first free row. So if I say that, okay, you keep the cell 1 and you select the data from the first free column and first free row, it will go and grab the data till here. We don't need that one. So any ideas? Anything? How can we fix it? Any solutions? Anything? You can feel free to unmute. Let's make it a little bit interactive also. Okay, copy the whole sheet. That's a good one.
Just go -1
Any
on the
ideas, Celia?
variable. I swear I kill teams today. Just go -1 on the variables. The variables
Yeah,
for
yeah,
column,
good.
first free column
Yeah. So what
-1.
we, yes, that's a good one. So what we can do is we can come over here and select our variable, and I'm going to come over here and say that where is this Excel instance? Come over here, edit, and when we come over here, the first free row, okay, the first free row, I need to put it in the row and the first free column. And I will just say -1 inside that percentage sign, okay, and
Interesting.
-1. So that you have to be very careful. Many times when I give the solution, most of the people, they put it outside the minus sign, so it will not work out. So by this way, even you can make it dynamic. If you have a solution, n number of possibilities are available. Okay, now it has gone and sorry, it has copied the cells from that range. Now you have to trust me that it is going to go do that action. It is going to copy that step and it is going to copy that range of data. Now, what is that range which we have copied? Now we need to paste it into that Excel worksheet. Okay, in which Excel worksheet? The one which we have created temporary, the Excel instance 2. Okay, and on a specified cell or on a current active cell, maybe that active cell which is there over there. So we will just say that A1, A and 1. Okay, this is, I usually make a mistake because we have an habit in Excel to writing A1 and like that. So, or you can just give a column number or the row number. Let's try doing it with the column number over here. So now what it has done, it has copied the cell, launched that other Excel, and it has pasted. Now we need to do is that we need to close the Excel workbooks now. Okay. So first one which I will close is the Excel instance which is created over here. The first one, the first one which is the Excel instance. Do you want to save the document? It doesn't make any difference to me whether because once my Power Query is refreshed, has copied the data. I don't worry about it. But let's save it. Okay, let's save it. And maybe you just need to save it and keep the file open. Then you can just use this action which is over here. Okay, but we are not going to use it today. And again, I'm going to close my Excel workbook and I'm going to say close. And this is a second Excel instance which is there. yes, I need to save this one. Okay, and you can have a multiple option also. Now see, this is the beauty over here. Now, if your Excel workbook is saved in XLSX, you can save it into macro, you can save it into XLS, you can save it as a text file, you can save it into all this save as option available for the Excel. So let us go and save it into XLS. Now, again, the file path, the guy comes over here. So let's go and bring that file path over here. And we are going to call this as converted, or what do we say, OCR data. Or okay, image data. Data. Okay, and let's say okay. Let me save my solution. And let's say okay. So here you have created that image file and okay, see I'm okay fine. I have to give that extension, you know. No, I have to just give the path over here. Sorry. No, image data. Let's try it out. Let's see what happens. I'm sure that we need to give an extension. Let's save this one. And now once it is saved, now as you can see that flow is getting bigger and bigger and it is getting complex. Okay. Now, what you can do is you can create your own subflows. So let's go. Subflows are like you can say a different action tab where what action has to be done. You can segregate it nicely. You can say subflow for
Sorry,
Excel.
Faraz, did you do something with your mic?
Hello. Hello. Yes, Célia.
Yeah, sorry. Did you do something with your microphone?
No.
Because it's not, the sound is not coming as well, as good as before.
Setting. I'm on the same microphone.
Maybe it's the internet connection.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's
Okay.
continue with what we have. Is it just me? Someone can say in the chat because I barely understand what Faraz is saying now. Maybe it's just me.
Sound is rough.
Yeah, so Christian is also saying that the sound is bad now.
Okay. Is it better?
Oh, so much better.
How now?
That also works. Let's see.
Is it better
Yeah,
now?
yeah, it is good now. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay, so now I'm going to create a subflow which will be Excel. So whatever the actions I have done for Excel, I'm just going to move it to that subflow. And how to move it? It's very easy. Go to your main flow, just select it over here, hold the shift key and launch the Excel till the launch Excel. And I can just control X to cut that action, come over here, or I can just go and drag and drop also and control V. Come to that subflow Excel and you can just drop it. So all the actions related to Excel is done over here and I know that it is going to happen over here. So let me save this one and now let's go quickly and connect with our Outlook. Okay, so we are almost going to finish with our sessions. Okay, so let's say Outlook. And let's say, okay, save Outlook. I'm going to create another subflow which says Outlook. And now again, I'm going to call here as for my Outlook over here. I'm going to launch the Outlook and it is going to again create uh, an instance, a variable over here, and we are going to say launch the Outlook instance and send an email. And what we will say that, okay, fine, you send an email. So the account which is there, the email account which you will be using it, I will be using that Excel exciting @outlook.com. Perfect. And to whom we wanted to send this one. Okay. So if it is an other mail account, you can go and add another mail sending it from that one. But right now we'll keep it as an account symbol, which has been connected right now to my Outlook on my desktop. And I'll say, now this is what I'm connecting is on the desktop only. All these actions are happening on the desktop. Now I'm sending it to myself, and I'll just keep it. I can give any subject. I can create a subject variable name over here or file name, and I can give that file name also over here. So let's say that image converted, image to text. Hi, you can just write it, we converted the the image file. Okay, now body is in HTML. Yes, you can say regards Faraz and Celia. Okay, and we'll say in MS Meetup. Perfect. Now, see the reason why I have created the file path, because I know that in my model I use this file path again and again. So that's the reason I'll say that file path. I'll call it over here, and let's say this file path. And with this file path, I have to make sure that I call the file which we are going to save it with this Excel name, exactly the same name of this file, image data. Okay. So I'm going to go and say, come over here and say image data dot xlsx save. And then we'll just keep this window open, and that's the flow what we have created now. Now, when I run the flow, it will just run the OCR action. It's not going to run the other actions which we have created. Now we need to call that subflow. So I will say subflow run the subflow, and it will ask me which flow you wanted to run first. So you have to create your sequence of the flow which you would like to select. I'll say Excel. And then I would say that, okay, I would like to run after this Outlook one. And if I need to give some kind of a message box, there are a lot of message box you can give it, different options are there, and you can just get a simple message box saying the message box title, let's say MS Excel Meetup, and display message file send. You wanted to display it as an information, warning, or whatever you like, you can just say, and even that action has been getting as a variable. But right now, we'll just say, okay, this is what we wanted to display, and I'll just save my flow.
We're getting there.
Yeah, so trust me, if everything goes well, okay, we will run this flow successfully. Okay, so cross your fingers and let's play. I'm having little doubt that when I'm creating that Excel file, it might push an error, but okay, so now it is in that Excel flow, opening the file. So you have to bear with me for some time. Now this is totally depending upon your system resources. Okay, I'd like to quote it over here. I'm running on a very limited resources. I'm using a virtual machine on Mac and I'm using Windows, and plus these all heavy application, plus we are using Microsoft Teams. So I'm having a very limited memory. So with this kind of resources available, it is still doing a great job for me. If you have a good system with a good memory and good processor, trust me, it will just work like, awesome. It will work amazingly. See, now it has pasted the data. Perfect.
That's interesting. The data comes without, so it
Yeah, without a tape.
without formattings. Yeah.
Yeah. So it does. No, I think Christian, if you are going to gift it to me, I am definitely ready to accept the gift. You're going to gift me the Windows.
I guess now you can just borrow it from with Windows 365. You just pay to use it every month.
Yeah, actually, that was really interesting. They brought the cloud solution, and I'm really looking forward, to do that,
There it
to
is.
take that solution. Yeah, so the file is sent. Now we just need to wait for the file to come to our inbox. Yes, I'm just going to expand it. And here we have that file, image to text, MS Excel Toronto. And if you open that file, you can see over here, it has the data. So everything worked fine. Okay, you are not previewing it. I know why. Let's go back. Let's click again over here. Now you can see that preview is available over
Hmm.
here. Because I tried to open the file before it has been got loaded. So that records are over here. Now let's go and test it out one more. Okay. And this time I'm just going to go and change the file name again. And I will say that, okay, go with 002 and save. Now let me come here and see everything. See, even that image file is also available over here. Oh, after that sending the file, I could delete that image file. So I can add that step to delete it also, because
Hmm.
this is just a temporary file what we are creating it. So in fact, but it will overwrite it, because I have given the option to overwrite over there. So I'll just delete it for the time being right now from here itself. And let's go and deal with this again. Okay. So everything goes fine. It should work properly. I'm going to close my Outlook. Okay. And I'm going to just play and relax.
Do you know if we have a save as PDF from Excel?
I haven't seen that one in that option available save as PDF, but you can use that. I would prefer some actions of Excel to handle it with macro rather than with the desktop recorder.
Sorry about
Can I add the button to my desktop in run flow? Let me see to that. Okay, so right now we are connecting our Power Query, refreshing the data. Perfect. This goes refresh, took all that data, launch another Excel. So now just imagine this scenario. If you are using cloud, you can store this file on your OneDrive, and then from OneDrive cloud, you can call from the cloud this desktop and you can run this flow. You can connect the file to OneDrive by giving the path. So you don't need to even go and do that play button. And schedules and that flow, it works on online only. So here we go. Perfect. File sent. And we need to wait till the file comes. It's here. It's already here. And when we click this file, bang, everything is intact. And let's go back over here and you can see that flow. There are some things which are there. How many subflows you have, how many actions you have, how many one action sets you have. So all those kind of some detailed information is there. And if you would like to learn more about flow whenever you are working on Power Automate desktop, what you can do is you can just go over here and click on more information, So it will just take you to the learning page and let me quickly go to the Power Automate desktop and show it to you something. The cloud one and how you can learn this content. Okay, perfect. So once you come over here, you have the option to learn more about Power Automate from here. And once you click over here, it will divert you to the page where you can learn about automation step by step. There is a lot of stuff it is over here, and there are amazing stuff over here. You need to try every time, trial and error, and you can build a solution. There are AI builder solutions where you can just train a model in such a way that it will scan the invoice. Once you scan and push the invoice over here, and it will automatically take the information like the invoice number, the amount, the value, and you can connect it to your ERP system like SAP, and it will automatically feed that information to the SAP and it will work out. So this is available in the cloud one. And with the power of the desktop flow, you can still handle it with the desktop by connecting it to your ERP also. So this saves tons of time. This is a modern solution which has been provided by Microsoft, and we should try it, experiment it, and it saves a lot of time. Like if I need to go and extract this information manually, these text information, I would definitely spend a day or I would spend a lot of time and sending email, and this is a repetitive task, something which I would be dealing it. So I would prefer to prepare a solution for this within 2 hours. I could have done it better, uh, and I would use it again and again.
Yeah, definitely. It's beautiful to see the world of possibilities. Yeah, and without writing any code practically, just adding some variables there, manipulating that a little bit, but not practically any code. So it's just amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what Celia have mentioned earlier, that we are gathering the information for all the meetups. Okay. So the meetup information, whichever I'm recording, it has been handled by Power Automate Cloud One. So automatically, whenever the any new meetup is been organized, so I'm just triggering it from the mails, what I'm receiving it. I'm just filtering it out some information. There's a certain way we have to enter the name. Uh, Celia, how we are running with the time?
Oh yeah,
If you
we
can
have
tell.
passed the time a
Okay,
lot.
I'm
No
sorry.
worries,
Then
no
I need
worries,
to
but
come back
it's
again.
it's an amazing process that you are showing. Yeah,
Yeah.
but the system is you are subscribed to the meetup groups, so you receive an email every time someone posts
Yes.
a new meetup group posts a new session, and you asked the organizers to set up the titles of the sessions a certain way, and as long
Mhm.
as we post the title of the session that way, then your automation is able to find the title of the session, the name of the
Yes.
presenter, and the Power Query and Power Automate does all that for you, right? Or is it just Power
Yes. Yes.
Automate? Power Query too?
No, no, no. There is no Power Query involved in that
Oh,
one.
nice,
It is purely a Power Automate.
nice.
It is purely the cloud solution which I have built it. And by the way, this cloud solution idea was with Celia. I used to see Celia meetup where she used to put this screenshot. And one time I told Celia that Celia, we have to do something on this one. So she told me that for us, if we create forms and all these things, we will be occupied with lot of data entering. Then we come up with a solution with Power Automate. I said, okay, let me try it out with this, and uh, and it worked well.
Hmm.
And that's how we are able to tell you the upcoming meetups. So if you see this link, Excel exciting meetup, it is still in development. I'm still developing on this one, but the groups which are registered with us, with me, and they are here. So you can just click on the link and it will direct you to that group. And even the upcoming meetups, you can see it in the calendar view, which is still under progress. But if you click on a specific calendar or on date, it will direct you to that specific meetup group. So let's say that we have the Smart Meetup Power Automate. If I click here, it will straight away take me to the meetup group of Celia, MS Excel
That's
Toronto.
nice. And how is the calendar built with? What is it built with?
It is
Built.
built with dynamic arrays
Oh wow.
and some LED function and
And
with that
conditional
way.
formatting. Oh,
Conditional
nice.
formatting, I
Yeah.
have used it. And if you have missed out some of the resources, the sessions, then you can feel free to come here. There is all YouTube links. This is what I'm doing it manually. And updating all the YouTube links, whatever the sessions are happening. When I'm preparing the month-end meetup schedule, when I'm sharing it to everybody, I'm updating it in this file. So you can take the advantage. You can go and see it by DAX. You have some great by Oz. You have Guy Hunkin, Rahim, Gasper. I've seen Celia name also. You can go and sort it by the groups. Whatever you wanted to sort it, like, you can go slice and dice the data.
That's nice. Someone was asking if it is possible to share the flows with other users.
Yes, but for that, I think you must have a subscription one.
Hmm.
Then it will work perfectly.
Nice. I
Okay.
have just one suggestion about that waiting time. Can you
Hmm.
tell again why you need those 5 seconds?
Okay. Sometime what happens means, especially on the desktop flow, when I'm using the desktop recorder, at that moment, what happens that it tries to go and jump to the next step
Hmm.
without getting refreshing the entire
Yeah, I
query.
have a proposal for that, and you can try and then let me
Yeah.
know if that works.
Sure. Sure. Sure.
So what I think it's happening is that you say run the macro, and then you say close the workbook or something like copy the date and close the workbooks and so on and so on. But during the macro, there's one step to refresh the query, and that step takes time, and the macro is not waiting for that step to be completed. So the macro is
Hmm.
concluded, it runs all the steps in the macro, but there's that particular step of refreshing the query takes longer than the macro, and the macro is not waiting for it. If you go to the properties in the queries, so in that Excel file where you have the queries, there's
Hmm.
a property that is enable background refresh. You can open and I'll show you that.
Yeah, the background refresh
Yeah, enable background
will
refresh
also.
in the queries property. There's a few background refreshes things. So
Yeah.
data and
It is in
there.
property.
And what that will do is that when you get to the step of refreshing the query, the macro will not go ahead to even if it is the end sub step. It will wait for that thing to complete and then it moves
Hmm.
on. So maybe that will help. I never used Power Automate. I'm not
No,
sure if that will help, but maybe it can help with. That's not there. It's not there.
no, not yet. Not this one.
No. So
Just a minute. It's here. It's
here
exactly over
at the
here.
top, below the data tab where it says properties.
No. It's over here. You go over here
No, it's not.
and you say query
No, it's
options.
not that background
Uh-oh.
refresh. It's another one. If you click that, it's not that one. If you click that, it's
Yeah.
at the query level, each one of the queries. So click the table, just the table, select any cell there.
No, I think it's away from here also you can go and
Yeah,
Faraz,
that
yeah,
one
right
there.
here.
hand.
Yeah, enable
Yeah, that one
background
it is. You
refresh.
can just
Yeah.
refresh
No, no,
and
no. That one at the top,
refresh the data when
that one at the top that says enable background refresh, uncheck that.
yeah, it is
No,
enabled
no,
already.
disable it.
Okay.
Disable that, and by doing that, the macro will not go to the step after the command to refresh the query
Okay.
before the query
Okay.
is complete.
Definitely. I'll give a
Yeah, give
try.
it a try
I'll
later and then let us know if that works.
sure.
And you may need to do that with all the queries since you have at least two queries there. You may need to disable the background refresh, enable background refresh to all of them for that to work. It has solved me a couple of problems, especially related to running queries with VBA.
Mm-hmm.
That you can try and maybe that will avoid the step of waiting the 5 seconds. I'm not sure, but that's just a guess.
Okay. That was a good one. See, as I told you in the beginning that I'll definitely learn something today new, from the session. And this is what I learned today on this macro
Oh
part.
well, we are still
So
in depth with you.
uh, and that's all from my side today. And I would like to thank
Do you
Celia
want to stop
and the
sharing your screen
organizer.
so that we can see you?
Yes,
Or if you want to
yes.
share any other information about where people can find you?
Yeah, sure. They can find me on LinkedIn where you have shared it, all that
Hmm.
links, but I'll drop it in the chat. I think most of my friends over here, they know me.
I will send that
And I
information.
think, see, yeah. And I think you have already mentioned it on the meetup link also.
Hmm.
And that's all from my side today with Power Automate desktop, and there's endless possibilities with this modern solution. Thank you, Celia, and thank you, MS Excel Toronto Group, for inviting me. And this invite was been pending since long time. It was from 2020. Celia has invited me, and finally we got some time slot, and we managed to, do this one,
Thank you so much for us
and
for preparing such an amazing session. I just hope that Camtasia worked. I'm going to tell you that. Let me stop recording and then let me tell you
yes,
something. So I'm going to stop the
and after
recording.